Good evening. My name is Kemley Whiteside, and today's topic for the journey is called Insecurities of Others. I would like to first thank you for tuning in every Monday with me at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and allowing me to come into your homes, allowing me to come into your atmosphere, into your cars, wherever you are that you tune in your office. I just want to thank you. I appreciate very, very much your time. This is why I try my very, very best to keep it as short as possible so that everyone is available and everyone can understand the process of what we're doing every Monday. Please invite your followers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate and value it very, very much. The topic for today of insecurities of others, it's coming from chapter 10 of my book, Accepted, Secured, Significant. If you have not purchased a copy of my book, I encourage you to please go to my website, KemleyWhiteside.com, or go to Accepted, Secured, Significant, the name of the book, so that you will be able to actually, buy it, download it. It's on ebook. Everything is there. So feel free to do that whenever you get a chance, because what we're doing with the journeys on Monday is following up on the book. It's actually giving highlights of the book and the various topics that can come out of the book. You can even teach them in your ministry, in your classrooms and organizations. It's absolutely an amazing journey that we're doing with the actual journeys on Mondays. So I want you to know that I appreciate you. I really don't take your time for granted. To all my Periscope people joining me, thank you so much. Give me the hearts as much as you can. Invite your followers. I'm telling you, there's going to be very enlightening what I'm going to tell you tonight. The topic is insecurities of others. You can find it on chapter 10, where it's in my book, Unauthorized Access. And it's on page 71. So let's start with a little recap of last week. Last week, we were talking about create a plan. It's talk about the 5 Ps. Well, the 5 Ps were initiation process, planning process, executing process, monitoring, controlling, and closeout process. And we were talking about how to create a plan. So for the Periscope people, I just want you to know that if I'm not tuning in directly to you, it's mainly because I have two things going on with Blab and Periscope. So I'm trying my very best to keep my focus on the camera so that everyone can understand me and hear me. So I just want to apologize in advance if you feel like I'm not directly speaking to you, but I really am. I just want to know that creating a plan is so many different angles. We discussed it last week. If you were not able to actually hear it, please feel free to actually go to the Periscope or YouTube or Blab, and all the different messages are there. But today, Insecurities of Others speaks about, in my book, they have lost hope because they allowed someone to gain access to their mind and their confidence level. Another may see something as impossible, but that does not mean they are right. We have to remember that each one of us have been granted the same access, but a different vision. It is important that we do not allow the visions we have to be thrown away by the insecurities of others. You build confidence by understanding that if you made the choice or decision, at least it was yours. Then you can look back on your decision without regret because you made it yourself rather than listening to someone else. So let me just recap or highlight this one portion. They have lost hope because they allowed someone to gain access to their mind and their confidence level. A lot of times when it comes down to insecurities, the definition for insecurities is uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, is lack of confidence. It's a state of being open to danger or threat, lack of protection. The moment you allow someone to gain access into your mind, into your thoughts, into your circle, into your atmosphere, you must understand that now you have given them access. Regardless of whether if they were right or wrong, you gave them that access. So it's up to you at that point, at that given moment, to not allow them to have that access any longer, depending on how long you want it. See, a lot of times we get opinions from people and, we hope that they have access to our world because it's honestly, that's the way we want to be. We want people to know things about us. We want to confide in somebody something. We want to tell somebody something. The bottom line sometimes is that even when we open that key element of opening that access, we must understand that once we authorize that, once we allowed it, we have to see when we are going to block it or limit it. Most of the time, people can only have access to you as long as you give them that authorization. But if you continue to feel that you're obligated to them or that you should be able to continue opening that access for them, they're going to take it and run with it until you actually stop it. It's just like if you're playing Monopoly and you keep on going go, and you have to pay that $200. But while you're in jail, you actually don't actually pay anything. You can't even pass go anymore. So that's the same thing you have to do with people. If people are in your circle, in your life, in anything that you do, and you have given them access to your life, to anything that you're doing, you have the right as an individual to block them. You have a right as an individual to say, I no longer want to give you access to anything that I'm doing or saying, because you're actually not having confidence even in me. What I'm doing, what I'm saying, you're demeaning it. You're looking at it like it's not important. And a lot of people do that because of the lack of what they don't have. They take it out on you and they basically treat you like you're insignificant. So that's basically what that first portion was saying. Then another portion I highlighted was we have to remember that each one of us have been granted the same access, but a different vision. We're going to talk about your vision, your confidence, and also the other part that I wrote down was your decisions. And that's basically what we're trying to do tonight. I want you to understand that the moment you have granted someone the access, even on your vision, you have allowed them to open up their mind to give you their opinion. Most of the time, the person may feel like they can give you as many opinions they want, as often as they want to, and they'll go ahead and they'll do that because they think they're entitled to. Once again, you still have the key, that master key to say, I don't need you to have access to my vision board. I don't need you to have access to anything that I'm doing anymore. So then the other part I highlighted was you build confidence by understanding that if you made the choice or decision, at least it was yours. Listen, it's very important that any decision that you make, whether good or bad, it's yours. It doesn't matter if you did wrong. It was your decision. Sometimes we have allowed people to give us so much of who they are to us. They allow themselves to tell us whatever we want to do, our relationships. Well, you should go leave him, girl. He's no good for you. You should go leave her because she's no good to you. That's all good that you get all that. But once again, it's up to you when you're going to do that. It's up to you how you're going to go about it. They're not in your shoe. It's okay to listen to people give you advice and try to tell you how to go about certain things. What's really not okay is that you allow them to have way too much control over your emotional state of mind when you're going through something. It is very important that you don't allow people to constantly feel that when they're giving their opinion, that you're supposed to do it just because they said it. You have a right to actually not do it. It's an opinion only. So keep in mind that a lot of times when you're dealing with certain decisions that you're making, whether it's changing jobs, whether it's moving to a different state, most of the time you're going to have a lot of people tell you, girl, don't move, don't do this. I don't think it's a good idea. It's not a good choice. Okay, so how about you lay out the vision? This is my situation. Do you think I should at this point or not? I guarantee you they'll back away. They'll run because they really don't understand why you're making that decision, but it's not up to them to understand it. So you have control and full access of understanding how you're going to go about anything that you're doing when it comes down to making decisions and choices. Even if you're making a decision in your business, in your ministry, do not allow certain decisions to come into your world where they feel that they have full control over you, because that's where the word control comes into play. A lot of people think they have control over you the moment or the minute that they feel that they have gotten access to you in anything that you do. So you have to set those boundaries. So we already went over the definitions of insecurities and what it really means. So the 3 different elements that I had tonight was your vision. Remember that when you have a vision for something, you plan for it, regardless of whether you see potential or not. The key is to mute out anyone who is telling you that what you are envisioning is too big or large for you to handle. Do not allow the insecurities of other people seeing in their mind what you cannot do, or to offend you or even confuse you. Okay, so let's stop right there. Your vision. When God gave you a vision, when you gave yourself a vision, you put it on a board, you put it on anything. Keep in mind that that vision was yours. That plan was yours. Whether it fails, whether it goes forward, whether it's moving forward, whether it's at a slow pace, whether it's at a fast pace, it doesn't matter. It's still your vision. Now, there are people who are great visionaries and they have great things they have to say about a vision. But the moment you begin to execute that vision, they run. You don't even know where they are. All they do is go, oh, well, you have this to do. I don't know if I want to. I can't. I don't have time. I can't come over to help you now, because they don't have that responsibility like you do. This is the key element to all of this. You have to understand that when you're doing your vision, that you are allowing your vision to be productive for you. It does not matter, once again, what other people are saying about what you're doing. The bottom line is, if you're going to fail at it, if you're going to fall short, if you're not going to do a great job, you're the only one to blame. You can't call somebody else and say, I blame you for telling me to go open that loan and that business never went anywhere. And then you're blaming somebody else. So that's why it's very important that when you're dealing with insecurities of other people, that's why the topic is insecurities of others, that you don't allow their insecurities of whether they see your business going or not to block you from your vision, because that's what people will do. They will automatically try to block you. They will automatically try to say, I don't think you should go for it because you don't have enough experience. You don't have enough this. You don't have enough that. There is a point to all that. There are times you're going to need somebody to give you that nugget and that little bit of an understanding capacity that you will definitely know if it's right or wrong. But when they're not helping people, when they're not helping, when they're not even doing anything at all to make something work with your vision, execute them. Keep it moving. Tell them, bye, I don't need you. Because that's the problem. People have an opinion, but when it's time to execute the process, everybody runs, everybody's hiding, everybody is flying away. Everything sounds great from the beginning. And then at the end of time, it's all over the place. Everybody's just disappearing. Keep in mind your vision. Remember that when you have a vision for something, you plan for it, regardless of whether you see the potential or not, because it's yours. So at the end of the day, if it goes rock bottom, you are the only one to blame. And you are okay to blame yourself, because at the end of the day, that was your choice. So when people come in and they don't have 2 cents to actually give in, they don't have no help support that they're going to give you. They're not even going to tell you, hey, by the way, I'm going to sow something into your life. I'm going to do something for you so that you can actually get it up and running, execute them, redeem yourself from them, and say bye. Because there's no reason why you should have people in your circle who see the vision that you have. And at the end of the day, what they're going to do is say, oh, I don't know if I actually can be here for you and help you. That's the problem. So don't even allow yourself to be blocked from that and make yourself believe that it's okay to have someone tell you anything like that. It is impossible. It is absolutely impossible. So the other part that I wanted to touch on is basically is saying you may have a big dream. You may have a big vision. You may have something big. You may have something small. One of the things you have to understand is that when you are seeing yourself in a vision in anything that you do, whether it's big, whether it's not big, whether it's medium size, it doesn't matter to anybody else, the size limit of it. Keep in mind that when people are actually doing certain things for you, they're not going to understand where you're going. They're only going to see what's going on right now. They don't see the bigger picture. See, a vision doesn't have to be being on camera, being on TV, being on award shows. Guess what? Windows got a whole lot of award certificates that you can do for yourself and give yourself kudos for the accomplishments that you have gotten. You can do that to yourself. If nobody's telling you how good you're doing, do that for yourself. Give yourself a tap in the back, give yourself a vision, give yourself a certificate, buy yourself something good and say, by the way, I accomplished opening my business and got an LLC license. That's good enough for you. Even if the world doesn't recognize it, even if the people that follow you don't even recognize it, at least you have an access to yourself of blaming yourself if it didn't even go through, or if it didn't, even if it did or not go through. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that if you can make your own certificate, go do it. If you can actually give yourself an incentive, do it. You don't need to wait for someone to clap their hands for you to tell you you've done a great job. It is your job to understand that the insecurities of other people, the lack of confidence they have in you, is not going to make you or break you. That's the problem. We have gotten away from understanding who we are. So we listen to what other people tell us. We focus on how much they give us and say, well, if they're rooting for me, I guess I'm doing great. I'm going to go for it. But if nobody shows up for my Periscope or my Blab, I'm going to stop. If nobody gets on my radio station, I'm going to stop. But wait a minute. Aren't we doing this for Jesus? I mean, he's obviously listening. So at the end of the day, that vision he gave you, he's going to make room for you. And he's also going to have people who are going to be just right to actually walk with you with that vision, whether it's 2 or 3 that are gathered together. Oh, my goodness. Don't let me go there. But that's the key. That's actually the key. So the other part is your confidence. Remember to build your confidence, whether you understand the vision or not. Most of the time, we know as people of God, we do certain things, we put it in writing, we're sitting there making plans. We really don't know where God is taking us or leading us with it. At the end of the day, you started the first step. That's the key. That's important. The moment you started that first step, the moment you allowed yourself to say, yes, I'm going to move my bags and I'm going to find me a new apartment, a new house, a new condo, a new whatever. Yes, I'm going to go for a good job because I deserve to get a good, better paying job with benefits and not just as a contract. Yes, I can do all these things through Christ who strengthens me. So you will know for a fact that you're going to have access of confidence because God gave you that already. So when people are coming with that anxiety attack and they're saying, girl, I don't think you should go move because you can't afford that. Wait a minute. Okay, maybe there's a logic to it because some people do that. They actually do things and they move and they do all these different things and they really don't think through everything. But there's something that's called the spirit of discernment. There's something that's called the spirit of understanding. There's something that's called that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me because he gave me complete power to do it. It's not doing it randomly, but it's still walking with that confidence. If you do not walk with that confidence and you're waiting for somebody else to give it to you, you will not accomplish where you need to go. If you have to register to school, if you have to go ahead and start Zumba, if you have to go ahead and start a gym membership, nobody can do it but you. So do not wait for people to give you that accolade and think that that's all you need to move forward. If you have a business, if you have anything that you do, and for some reason you're lacking something because you don't know which way to go, trust and believe that God will never give you something that he knows you're not ready to do or equipped to do. He just doesn't operate that way. He never will. He never is going to. So I need you to understand that when you're building your confidence, whether the vision you understanding or not, it's really not up to you to make that determination. It's up to God to show you if that is going to work for you. You just got to sit patiently and wait. and stop procrastinating about the decisions you make. Some decisions don't need explanations. Honestly, they don't need an explanation. There's some decisions that only get done and made because the Holy Spirit sometimes downloads it into you, and you wake up one morning and go, okay, you really want me to do that? Okay, I'm going to go ahead. They don't require an explanation at times. So don't try to overanalyze. I get sometimes people that they come to me and they'll send me information about things that they want me to tell them if, this is good or not. And then I'm reading their emails and I'm going, wait a minute, you're becoming overly analytical. It's way too much analyzing that you're doing here when God didn't write the Bible for you to be analytical like that. I mean, for real, it's simple. He didn't make it complicated. When you start putting your little 2 cents and your little thoughts in it, you make it complicated. So it's simple. When he said what he said, he didn't stutter. We are the ones who have a problem with trying to understand something that's very simple, and it goes both ways in ministry, in businesses, and everything that you're doing. Do not let anyone in on your level of confidence that you do or you do not have. Whenever you have a vision, whether you don't think it's going to work, don't act like it is not going to work. Please don't do that to yourself, because you already open access to those people who have insecurity problems to come and tell you that you're not doing so well or that you won't do so well. You have allowed those insecure people to come in and tell you little things in your ears because you have obviously shown in your character, in your persona, and in your way of doing things that you're not even sure yourself. Why are you giving these people that much credit to feel that that's going to be okay? You shouldn't have to. You must walk in so much confidence that even if you don't really feel it or think it, don't show it. Do not show it. Never, ever show that kind of level where you honestly feel you're not confident enough about it. If you have a ministry and you feel the ministry might be going down, you don't need to show that. You simply need to still walk in that confidence because you have followers. You have people who are honestly depending on you. And all you have to do is lay that vision clear and plain so that God will be able to open up the doors, the windows, and everything that's possible so that he can make a way. But the moment you show a little bit of lack of confidence, that's where your faith drops. So that's where faith and confidence, all of that works hand in hand. So try your very best to not show your insecure people, the people who don't have much faith in you, the people who don't really believe in you. Don't show them that you're scared. Don't show them that you don't see yourself going there and that you may not be able to get that house, that car, that job. Don't even pretend to do that, because you have allowed yourself from that very moment to give them access into your level, into your space, and you should never have to show that side. People will try to make your confidence level become a little shot just because the decision you made to do what you planned did not include them, or you did not agree with them. That's it. When you don't include people into certain things, they get a little offended. They get a lot offended. I mean, literally, very, very offended. They get so offended to the point that they don't even come out and support you. Yeah, I said it. They don't even come out and support you because they got offended. They feel like, well, she didn't really tell me, and she really didn't personally come to me. No, wait a second. But if you do an invite on Facebook, obviously it's for everyone unless you do invite only. And then the other part is, if you didn't even want to invite them, you're entitled for that. But just because you didn't give them so much leeway into your vision, into what you're doing, you didn't include them, they get so offended that they don't even want to be bothered. That's serious issues. It's an insecurity level that you have to see yourself saying, wait a minute, if I don't tell you something, don't get offended by it just because I omitted it or I simply forgot. It will be nice if you just come to me and say, by the way, I really thought that when you had this event, I should have been invited. Get it out the way. Why are you holding on to stuff 5 years later, 3 years later, 2 years later, like it's going to make a difference? You still didn't go. And that's the reality of it. It's like we hold on to certain things with people just for the simple fact that we want to hold on to it because we feel like we have to. You don't have to hold on to anything like that. You don't even need to feel like you must hold on to it just because you don't want to offend them. Because I guarantee you that if they did it to you, they would care less how you felt. So be very careful when you actually have people that you don't include into your vision, into your conferences, into your seminars, into your ministry ideas or different things. Most of the time, they don't agree with you on so many levels. So guess what? They don't feel like they have an option in your life. They really feel left out. There's a certain level of certain things that you can share with people. You can't share everything with everybody, even if it comes down to your personal life, even if it comes down to your ministry life. You must be very careful who you're sharing things with. And I don't care if it's another Christian. I don't care if it's another pastor. I really don't. I don't think it's fair that you should constantly have to tell every single person that because they're ministers and they're preachers, oh, by the way, I'm going to give you my vision. Who said that? And where is it on scripture that you're supposed to do that? Nowhere to be found at all. So don't feel bad, people. Don't feel bad if you don't talk to another preacher or another speaker or whoever and feel like you need to be seeking acceptance. Exactly, Jaime. It seems like you have to go after that when you don't really need to. You have that option of not sharing with somebody else what your visions are. You have the choice. It is yours and it is acceptable. But when you try to push it, and you want to make that person feel like, well, if I don't include them, I guess, that's going to be a problem. And this goes for family people too, family members. This is what they do. You're all family members. Everybody's family members. And then that one family member felt like you left them out because you didn't actually physically call, invited them, text them, or told them yourself. But they knew about the event as a family that everyone was invited. But that one person, it only takes that one person to really get offended and say, well, I'm not going because she didn't invite me. Are you serious? I mean, I would have personally told you if I didn't want to invite you. That's the flip side of it. If I don't want you somewhere, I will tell you I don't want you somewhere, right? But when it's an open invite, you have complete access to that. So why get yourself offended? That's the part of the human nature. We analyze too much. We come into so much stuff that we don't need to, and we bring ourselves into a bunch of stress that's so unnecessary. The other part is, do not allow that confidence to be aborted by the opinions of others. The opinions of others are sometimes they're very important because there are people who are very wise. And some people that are very wise, I really commend you that you listen to them, that you do pay attention to them, that you really take into consideration what they're saying because they're wise. And let me tell you how you can tell they're really wise, because they're living it, they're walking it, they're talking it. That's how you can tell if you should hear the opinions of those people. When you see their lifestyle, when you see their opinions are really valid, when you really can say their word is their bond, that's how you can see yourself saying, I really want to listen to this person's opinion because they have something to show. They have something that has actually allowed you to believe that confidence. To believe in the confidence. Once you believe that that person has that confidence, you can follow that road. You can say, I'm going through that path with that person because I see it, I believe it, I receive it. It's not everyone's opinion that you should automatically feel you should follow or be entitled to. Because at the end of the day, every single person that has nothing to show, every single person that has only an opinion or criticism, every single person who's always criticizing every move you make, every decision you make, watch out for them. Because they're insecure people. And they don't even know they're walking in insecurity. They really don't know. No one has ever told them. See, that's the thing. Everybody want to prophesy to you about where you're going. Why can't people prophesy to you about what's lacking in you, like your confidence level, like your trust level, like all these different things? I mean, I'm serious. I wonder about that, because if you can prophesy to my life, you ought to come on point to the point that I should be able to fix myself. Fix my life, not just what's going around my life. Fix me. Tell me what's wrong with me. I got a sassy mouth, or I'm just disrespectful to my parents, or whatever. Tell me what's wrong with me that I need to change. Tell me that I'm messed up ministry. Tell me all that stuff. But stop trying to tell me prophetically that you really think God said this, but you still not working with me and helping me change myself. That's what I'm trying to say when it comes down to people. When you listen to their opinions, you listen to the prophetic, you listen to all that stuff. The only way you know you're going to really get a real deal prophetic in your life is when they're talking about your life. What you need to explore and do to change, what you should do to make yourself a better person, so you will stop messing up everybody else. That's the key to that. So when you listen to the opinions of others, be very careful what you're listening to. Your ears are sensitive to a lot of things because we just go after seeking for stuff. You know, I see people at times that every little prophecy is them. Every prophecy is me, me, me. That was me. That was me right there. Oh, yeah, that was me. Are you serious? Every single prophecy? I mean, I don't think that's how God operates, right? I don't think so. I mean, if you do, let me know, because I honestly don't see how exactly. Itching ears. It's itching ears. When you're so itchy, what do you get? Nothing. You're itchy for nothing. So be careful when you actually need to hear certain things from people. Be careful who you're following and what they're saying to you, because they have to be living examples of what they're really saying. Just saying it is not enough. It's not enough for me. It may be for you, but it's not for me. The last part is your decisions. Remember that your decisions are yours. Whether they were good ones or bad ones, they are yours. It is easy to point the finger at someone who has not been in your shoes and who has not given any thought at all on how to resolve the problem or give input with the decision made. That's very key to what I was saying earlier. Too many people want to give you a little, 2 cents, 3 cents, 50 cents. They want to tell you constantly what they think about what you're doing, how you're doing it, what you should say, what you should not say. But I haven't seen them do it at all. Haven't seen them try it. I haven't even seen them even trying to say, well, let me see if I can do it first, and then I'll tell you if it's working. See, when you have people like that are not collaborating with you, watch out for that. Because if you're not in collaboration with me, I don't need to hear you. I just don't, because you're not collaborating. You're not helping me. You're not doing something that's going to help me build where I need to go. It is important that the decision becomes yours only, with no third parties involved co-signing on it. Be careful with people co-signing with you, especially if you're doing things together and you're saying that's your partnership and all that stuff. When you're into partnership with people, let me tell you what partnership means. That means you're going to work 50. I'm going to work 50. I'm not just going to work 40. You're going to work the other 70, 30, 60, whatever you want to work, and that's it. That's not partnership. You're not going to work with me 90 and then you do 10. It just doesn't work that way. See, partnership means we're going to go together. We're going to do it together. If we fail together, we fail together. If we won together, we won together. If we're going to meet each other's halfway, we're going to meet each other's halfway. It's the same thing in marriage, in relationships, in ministry, in businesses. It works equally the same. Partnership doesn't have that 100%. Can be divided in so many angles. But when you start seeing people co-signing, when you put something out there and they jump and they go, yeah, sister, by the way, I want to come join what you're doing and I want to be a part of that. All of a sudden they join. All of a sudden they hype. All of a sudden they doing all this great stuff that they want to do that. Not once have they even been able to share their thoughts, been able to ask you, how is it going? Can I help you with this? They're not even being a part of it. They're doing their own thing on their own level, but they're not even consulting with you as a partner to see how you can make it work. That's what partnership is about. So when you are co-signing with somebody, keep in mind, co-signing is a big issue. You don't want to just deal with people who are just saying, I'm going to help you, but then they disappear. Be very mindful of that. At the end, you have to understand that people will not provide you a solution when they give you their opinion. An opinion without a solution is not helping your decisions. See, we all have that and we all do it. I've been there. Sometimes we have an opinion, but we really don't have a solution for the people. We don't have a solution in explaining to them or telling them something that's going to be constructive, that's going to be really helpful. We just simply say things without really having something thought through the process of that. We're too busy constantly assuming that we have to give ourselves, we have to give opinions, we have to say things to people, but we don't analyze the stuff first. And that's very important that you do that. Don't just jump into things just for the sake of jumping into them. Be very careful what you're jumping into. Be very careful what you're signing up for. Be very careful what you're doing with anybody, because honestly, you can't trust anybody. And I'll tell anybody that in a minute. Don't even trust me, not because you can't, but because you shouldn't have to depend just on what I'm saying. You should depend on the fact that God is going to tell you and show you if it's real or not, because we're humans. We're going to do things and say things. And then for the very moment, we may change our thought process. So never depend on humankind, human being. And yes, you trust people, but you don't give in to them 100%, that you forget your other part of who you are. And then all of a sudden you become hurt, you become broken. Someone has hurt you, someone has done you wrong. We're capable of letting each other down. That's exactly what we were created that way. We were created that way. Thank you, Loritan Juan. We were created that way. That's not going to change. God isn't going to recreate us like that, seriously. So we have to be very wise that whenever something is taking place and we know that we're dealing with certain situations, let us understand that as human beings, things are going to happen. People are going to fail us. Things are going to fail us. Things are going to go down on us. And the best thing that we can do at all costs is try our very best to do our very best. That's it. We have to just do our very best. Ephesians 2:18, Romans 5:2, and Hebrews 7:19 basically will talk to you about these different things we talked about today. Now, all of us can come to the Father through the same Holy Spirit because of what Christ has done for us. That's Ephesians 2:18. When I came up with the scripture was because the same access that you have is the same access God gave me. He gave us equal rights to everything in this earth, in this world. So if you're succeeding more than I'm succeeding, I have that same access and you have it too. So why are we upset? Am I missing something? Why are we upset? Why are we so upset about it? And that's one of the things we have to understand. We cannot be upset at certain things that we're lacking just for the simple fact something happened to Periscope people, so I apologize. But we cannot be upset at situations that are taking place just because someone is more successful than others. We all have the same access. We have the same access, and it's nothing wrong at all with that. You just have to learn how to be able to dissect it well, deal with it well. Don't allow people to interfere with some of the visions that you have just for the simple fact that they feel some kind of jealousy, insecure about themselves. I don't know. But God gave us the same access. He gave us the same access in Ephesians 2:18. He did not make a mistake when he gave you the same rights that he gave me. Romans 5:2, because of our faith, Christ has brought us into this place of undeserved privilege where we now stand, and we confidently and joyfully look forward to sharing God's glory. I did get back on Periscope, people, so I really apologize for the delay on what's going on with social media today. I don't know. But Romans 5:2 explains that our faith, Christ has brought us into this place of undeserved privilege. So basically is, we don't deserve any of this. We really don't deserve it, but he has enough faith in us that we can actually gain certain things. He has enough mercy on us that what he wants to do for us and give us is supernaturally exceeding. Like there's no limit. So when he gave you all this access of success, he gave you access of wealth, he gave you access of prosperity. All of this is the same thing you have and I have it together. We can share this. We can work with this together. We can do this together. We have not been taught how to share. We haven't been taught how to share. We've been taught to just how to take and take and take. We haven't even been taught how to give right, because we're too busy having either a competition with other people, figuring out who's best at this. I mean, if you type fast and I type fast, what's wrong with that? I mean, we both can do something together and make it even better. Those are things that people sometimes get upset about. If you're doing something better than somebody else, it doesn't mean that they're better than you are. It doesn't mean that they have better access of it anyways. It simply means some people are gifted to do certain things. All you do is stay in your lane. If they told you to fold up the napkins, fold the napkins. What's wrong with that? You're collaborating, you're helping, you're doing something, you're being constructive. We want to have access to things being on top. We all want to get to this point of saying, I want to be on top. I want to be on top. And okay, we're all going to get there. We're all going to do these things. But guess what? We're all going to crawl up to that on top process. That ladder has to be a level that you have to go forth each and every time. So it's very important that you don't just go from here and jump here. That's also a problem. You have to be careful when you're making moves. Don't just do them based on where you think you need to be. Make them based on how you're going through that process of getting there. The last scripture is Hebrews 7:19. For the law never made anything perfect, but now we have confidence in a better hope through which we draw near to God. The law never made anything perfect. We are not perfect. The law was never made to be imperfection. That's why there's so many laws that come out. They get tweaked and they get pretty much like amended, because it's changing progressively. What happened in the 60s is certainly not happening now in the 2000s. So we have to learn that the law basically was never made perfect, and neither are we. We have insecurity issues. We do. We really believe that people should cater to us for whatever reason. We really think that we're entitled for certain things. And when I'm saying this, I say it in love so that you can understand that God gave you enough confidence to build yourself up as much as you can. I didn't say be cocky, because some people can be very cocky. I'm saying build your confidence level. What your confidence level is, and what it means is that it's a feeling or belief that you can do something well or succeed at something. There's two things there. You can do something well or succeed at something. So you have an options. You have options of doing things well, but you also have an option of doing things to succeed. Confidence. It's a feeling where you will do something well or succeed at something. So those are two things you're going to see yourself doing at some point. So you're not going to jump from here to there overnight. You're not going, if somebody ever tells you that you're going to make it up here overnight, they're lying. Because that's not even God. That's not even how God built us. He didn't make us overnight. He didn't even created us overnight. So why do you think you're going to get there overnight and assume that is God? That's not true, because he doesn't work that way. He works in a way that's perfected in time. He makes progress with you. He helps you get where you need to in a perfect timing. Like you said, it's all in God's perfect timing. And that's what he does. Whenever he's giving you something, he's going to give it to you very well. He's not going to make mistakes. He's not a God that he shall lie, and he certainly will never make a mistake in your life. So take it tonight that the insecurities of others is so many angles. Remember what you should share, what you shouldn't share, and be careful what your ears are itching about. We have very itchy ears, people, because everything that we hear, we want to have access to, thinking that that's for us. Be very careful what is for you and what's not for you, because there's certain things that you're hearing that can also set you up for failure. And because God did not create it to be that way, you ought to be wise enough to understand that what he's giving you is enough common sense for you to understand that his word will never return void, that what he says in his word will be in his word forever. It's not going to change in time at all. So tonight, I thank you once again for coming in, for tuning in. Remember, the scriptures are Ephesians 2:18, Romans 5:2, and Hebrews 7:19. I need you to invite people to join the journeys on Mondays at 8 p.m. Don't do it for me, do it for them. Help them be better people, because the journey is an accountability process. We focus on accountability, we focus on networking, and we focus on productivity. So while as we are growing, we're networking together and we're producing great fruits together. So I want you to know that this is for you, that you need to work yourself. Forget about too many people telling you stuff that you should work on. Work on yourself. Be careful what you're listening to. Be careful who you tap into. Be careful who you're connecting with. Every connection that comes that wants to volunteer to help you, no. Everybody can volunteer to help you, because they're not even going to produce. There are people who volunteer, but they don't even know the vision of where you really want to go, because they don't understand it. And even if they didn't understand it, they should be kind enough to say, you know what, sis, I don't really understand your vision. I like it. I know God is taking you somewhere, but I will support you. That's all that matters. Because that's how God works. He does not give everybody access to the vision he gave you. If that's the case, we'll all be good. We'll all be like wonderful. We'll all have wealth and supplements of everything that we can have. But he doesn't work like that. We want him to work like that, but it doesn't work that way. So tonight, I thank you for tuning in. I want you to make sure that you actually invite other people. But one thing I really need you to do, make sure you're connecting with me. I don't know how you guys have gotten a hold of me, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, Google Plus, Blab. I need you to please connect, because that's the only way you're going to be in contact with me. I will only be in contact in that level of knowing that you are following what I'm doing, following what I'm saying. And this way I know that you're actually there, because I want to make sure that I recognize that you are supported. I don't just want to take for granted that you're out there and I don't really know who you are. So please connect with me. Find me on Facebook, on Twitter, and all these different connections through Kemley Whiteside, and all of them are with my name, Kemley Whiteside. I'm the only one out there. So if there's any duplicates, tell them bye. Okay, I'm the only one out there. So there's no duplication. There's no replication, none of that stuff. And if somebody is, then you need to advise me. Let me know. My administrative people or somebody will get to that, because we don't do that kind of stuff. So make sure that you're all tuning in, and please share with all your followers. It's all recorded, so you can always go back to it. I thank you for your time. I appreciate you. God bless you. God keep you. And until the next time, meet me here Monday night for the journey for next week topic.